welcome to a very special video cast this week because there's no Premier League or anything, so we're going for a nice FA Cup video.
5 matches on.
5 matches on TV.
Looking forward to it. Third round. Always the biggest day of football action for me personally, seeing the plucky Football League teams take on the big guns.
That's a nice thing. FA Cup gets a bit boring after, that's the quarter-final. Yeah. Unless someone good's in it, like Derby or something like that. Someone like Derby. Okay, we'll go to the first game, which is on tonight, and it's probably the biggest game of the year for any game. It's bigger than Champions League final. Exeter versus Liverpool. Now, I'm an Exeter boy, through and through. I don't support them, but I'm from Exeter, so I'll be supporting them tonight. And I know for a fact that St James's Park is a fortress, and there is no way that these Cop boys are getting through that defence tonight. Bring on Paul Tisdale. I think he's still registered.
I think he's
last minute screamer, I'm thinking.
Okay.
What are you thinking? That's my bet. Paul Tisdale.
Just off his flat cap.
Yeah, off straight. He'll be wearing his flat cap.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually going against Jake's tip of Paul Tisdale to score in the last minute. I actually think, even with all the injury worries that Liverpool are having, I think that Exeter are the exact team that a side like Liverpool would love to play against, because unlike a lot of teams in the lower leagues that try and use physicality to try and win games, Exeter are not like that at all under Paul Tisdale. They try and play good passing football, and if anyone is going to bully anyone off the pitch, it will actually be Liverpool bullying the Exeter players, in my view here. I actually think that 3-2 on a -1 handicap for Liverpool is a pretty decent bet. Jurgen Klopp has complained for quite some time about the winter football in English football. He's only just getting used to it, and he's seen the reason why he doesn't like it with all the hamstring injuries that Liverpool suffered recently. Dejan Lovren, Philip Coutinho and Jordan Ibe all missing out on this match through those injuries. Yeah. And I've got a little source in the Liverpool camp who's telling me that there'll be quite a few unknown names in the starting lineup for Liverpool, but they still have one of the better teams in the youth system, and some of those players are going to be better players than what Exeter can offer. I actually think when you look at the history as well, they've played twice at St James's Park in the past, and they've won 3-0 and they've won 6-1. So they've fully covered that -1 handicap in previous matches, and they're facing a Grecian side here who are in poor form themselves. They've only won 2 of the last 10 at home at the real St James's Park, and they've lost 3 matches in a row coming into this game. So I think Liverpool will still fancy their chances here, and -1 handicap 3-2 is a pretty decent bet. And in the outright market for the FA Cup, they're 5th favourites at a best price of 9-1.
That's quite decent. Nice little prize for Klopp in his first season.
Absolutely. Well, of course, they're also in the semi-final of the League Cup.
Yeah, 2 nice trophies. Okay, so you got the Exeter scarf on as well, so you'll be supporting Exeter, even though you've tipped Liverpool. Okay, so we're going for another Premier League team against another League 2 side, Wycombe versus Villa. I mean, Wycombe are doing pretty well in League 2, but they lost last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah.
But Villa are the worst team in all the leagues, so they're probably going to lose here. But what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I know that this is probably the most likely that there's going to be an upset this weekend, but I do fear for Wycombe a little bit in the fact that their home form just isn't as good as their away form, and they are playing up against an Aston Villa team who, granted, have only won 2 games this season. They beat Bournemouth in the very first match of the season when things were looking rosy for Aston Villa. Then they beat Birmingham, and they also beat Notts County. So that's 3 matches this season already. And I do think that they do have an actually pretty good team on paper, but for whatever reason, mostly defensively, they've just been appalling. I don't know if anyone saw last weekend's game against Sunderland, but the defence was just absolutely abysmal. That's so bad. But I do feel that they're going to win this game, and I think that. But I do feel that with that dodgy back line, that they will concede. I think there'll be goals in this one, and Villa to win and both teams to score is a best price of 15-4. Wycombe are 5-2 to win this game, which I think is just too short for a League 2 team to be facing a Premier League team.
That is crazy.
I don't think it's worth backing. When you say Exeter are in the same league and they're 7-1 to beat a Liverpool side that are going to be stretched through injuries, I don't see how Wycombe are 5-2 As I've mentioned, they've got a better record away from Adams Park. For whatever reason, they can't seem to replicate that away from in front of their own fans. Villa played League Two opposition in Notts County at the start of the season, and it was a barnstorming 5-3. So more of the same here would be perfect for my 15-4 tip of Villa to win and both teams to score. They've only managed to keep 3 clean sheets all season, though, Aston Villa. So I do feel that Wycombe will probably get on the score sheet. But they do have the likes of Jordan Ayew, who I actually really rate. I think he's a very good player, big, strong, powerful runner on the ball and a decent finisher. He's at 9-4 to score in this game. I think that's a really good bet as well. But in the overall market, Aston Villa fans, unfortunately, even though you made the final last season, the bookies don't fancy you this season. They've made you a best price of 100-1, which is pretty damning on how poor your seas's been. I actually don't know what.
I think I've seen that. I think they're about 100-1 as well.
Yes, there you go.
Just
as good as Derby.
Yeah.
So,
very good.
So if that's the case, next season in the Championship, you'll be absolutely fine.
Well, we got another. Can there be an upset here in the Man United game versus Sheffield United? The Uniteds. Man United got back on track a little bit last week with some nice goals from Martial and Rooney, finally. But they're playing Sheffield United side. It looked like an upset. But you're the expert, so what do you reckon will happen?
Something like that. Yeah. So I actually do believe that Sheffield United are a very good cup team, and they've proved that in the past. But I think it's going to be a stretch here to play against Man United at Old Trafford. Sheffield United, have played 15 away games this season, only picked up 3 victories, and they've only scored 14 goals in those 15 games. So they're scoring less than a goal a game in their away matches, and they're up against a defence in Man United, at home in particular, that are absolutely stout. They've kept 11 clean sheets in 16 home games this season, Man United. That is an incredible stat. And the only problem for them at the moment this season is that they're not scoring goals themselves. They've only managed to score 6 in their last 9 home games. And from a Manchester United side at Old Trafford, that's just bizarre.
It's weird, isn't it?
After years and years and years of seeing attacking football at Old Trafford, where they would score all the time, at the moment they are struggling. But last weekend they managed to score 2 goals against Swansea. Martial scored a pretty bullet header, and Rooney scored a nice, delightful little back heel. And I think that they'll win this one 0, and that's something that they have done this season plenty of times already. And a little extra caveat to this, I think Rooney is a pretty decent price at 6-5 to score after scoring his first goal in 8. I think that he should definitely start this game to get his confidence up a little bit. It's a great chance to get some goals, and that's my tips there. So it's Man United to win 0 at 39-40, Rooney to get a goal at 6-5, and for Man United fans that fancy a trip to Wembley, they're 4th favourites in the outright betting market at a best price of 8-1.
That's nice. 8-1's quite a good price. I think them to win 0 was a really, really good bet actually. But you've got your Sheffield United scarf on, so
I've got my Sheffield United scarf on.
But how could you be tipping against
because
your
it's
team?
The difference between the heart and the head.
Well, okay, we've got another Premier League team, Chelsea versus Scunthorpe. I mean, obviously Chelsea have got well-documented problems at the moment, although they're kind of getting back on track with Hiddink. Then they played Scunthorpe, who, they could cause an upset. But Chelsea are usually pretty good at home. What do you reckon is going to happen?
Yeah, more of the same. I'm afraid I'm absolutely out of romance for the FA Cup for these TV ties. Chelsea to win 0 here, a slightly better price than what Man United are. At even money, I think that's a really good bet.
Yeah.
Of course, they did suffer a 4-2 loss to League One Bradford last season. That was an absolute shock. Unfortunately, that one wasn't on TV because that would have been incredible to watch live.
Yeah, really good.
But Jose's out and Goose Hiddink is back in, and he seems to have put all the smiles back on the players' faces. They've now only conceded 5 goals in their last 6 games at Stamford Bridge. They've kept back-to-back clean sheets under Hiddink.
Yep.
So I think another clean sheet against the Scunthorpe side, who are in League One, of course. They have got some pretty decent forward-thinking players, with the likes of Gary McSheffrey, Paddy Madden, players at that level that are very, very good. But up against the likes of Chelsea, you have to say that the likelihood is that they won't be able to get past the likes of T-Ball, Courtois.
Oscar has another fight with
that's true, yeah.
Diego Costa
that
on the pitch.
That could happen. Scunthorpe actually, strangely, have only lost 0 once away from home this season, proving that they do manage to score goals on the road. That was to Wigan when they lost 1-0. But of course, they are playing in League One, and the opposition in front of them at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea will be far harsher than in League One. So I do believe that Chelsea to win to nil at best price of evens is a very good value bet. Diego Costa, as you've mentioned, is back to his former self in terms of being belligerent but also quite good, which is the most important thing. Whereas at the start of the season, it was just belligerent and a bit of a nightmare. But he's back to his best. His performance against Palace was really good, and he's the best price here at 4-6 to score. And as their only real striker, I think that's a really good bet as well. So take both of those bets personally. Chelsea are 7-1 third favourites in the outright betting market. Can they do themselves justice this season? They probably have only really got a chance of getting this now domestically. Of course, they're still in the Champions League, but this is probably their only hope now of picking up a English-led trophy. So 7-1 looks a pretty decent price on them to win the FA Cup outright as well.
They can concentrate on it, can't they? Really,
fully concentrate on it.
What a boring game though.
It's a poor choice,
an average Premier League team against an average League One team.
Absolutely, and it'll be averagely
1-0. Okay, now we've got another London team, Spurs against Leicester, an all Premier League affair. That's a really nice looking game actually. I mean, top of the league table, both teams are pretty attacking. Spurs have been transformed this season, I think, by and they've just been really really decent. Obviously, Leicester are on a little bit of a downward time, but they can still bring it back. Vardy's out though, so
it's absolutely.
Yeah,
you've kind of said it all for me. My best bet here is Tottenham to win at 4-6. It is a short price, but they're coming into this game having won 9 of their last 14 games. They've only lost 1 in their last 14, whereas Leicester have come into this match winless in 3. They haven't scored any goals in any of those 3 games. They're missing Jamie Vardy. Okazaki and Demarai Gray may well come in for them, but they're still getting used to. Okazaki is in the Premier League, whereas Gray is a Championship player that could make his debut for Leicester on Sunday. However, I do feel that Tottenham to win this game at 4-6 is the best bet, and also Harry Kane to get a goal at even money looks a pretty decent bet as well.
Yeah.
Leicester have only kept 2 clean sheets all season, even though they're doing so well in the league. Defensively, they still managed to let in quite a few. They just tend to outscore teams so far this season. Kane, however, scored 15 goals this season already to add to his absolute monster amount of goals last season.
Yeah. And
of course, he is an X-file, which is my absolute favourite kind of anytime goal scorer tip when a former striker goes to his old club and he tends to always score a goal. So
will he celebrate?
I hope he does.
Yeah. I don't like it when they don't celebrate. It's annoying, isn't it?
It is annoying.
Yeah.
Celebrate your goals, guys. Come
on.
And finally, in terms of the outright market, Tottenham have been known as a cup side in the past, and there are 6 favourites in the outright betting market at 14-1, which is very good value.
Yeah, that's really good value. What price is Chelsea to win?
7-1.
It's double the price of Chelsea. Yep. That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, make some comments in the YouTube section about that, Tottenham fans. Those are my tips for the weekend. But as an extra special thing for this podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it, as it is the FA Cup third round, I've actually given a 4-fold, which for a £10 stake returns £54, which I'm pretty happy about, and that's simply Arsenal to beat Sunderland at home, Derby to go to Hartlepool and win that game, West Brom to beat the absolutely appalling Bristol City at the moment, and West Ham to beat Wolves at home. All 4 of those ties to come in, £10 on, £54 back. I think that's a very good price.
That's a very good price. That should be a certainty, but because it's the FA Cup, anything could happen.
Anything could happen, but it will happen.
So bet on it.
Okay, well, that's the FA Cup edition of our tips, and we hope you enjoy your third round and that your team, if they're still in the hat, has a very victorious third round match. All the best.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.